Have you ever heard someone say, that person is so anointed? Oh, when she leads worship, she's so anointed. Oh, when he teaches, there's just an anointing on his life. I've thought through this idea a lot, and I've been asked the question a few times, and I actually used to respond to this question. I think it has to do with like when talent and calling kind of find this middle ground, and that's when this person becomes this very effective leader, worship leader, singer, song leader, pastor. It's kind of like this when these two find this balance, and they're thrust into anointing. And then I realized that was completely and totally wrong. And I think that we use the word anointing to mean something so different than what it actually means. I think we use the word anointing these days to say that person's really good at what they do. They have a gift that is really mind-blowing, and so we call it anointing. But I think we actually do, not only do we do our culture a disservice with that, because that means that people that actually have the anointing to lead worship may be set aside because of skill or lack of skill. Not only does it hurt our culture, but I also think that it elevates the title of worship leader past something that I think it was ever supposed to be anyways. The word anointing actually literally means to be set apart. To be anointed, this is an Old Testament concept. Things in the temple would be anointed for the purpose of the rituals of the temple. People would be anointed for a specific office. Aaron was anointed to be high priest. David was anointed to be king. Being anointed means to be set apart. The word Mashiach actually means Messiah. The word anointed is actually where we get our word Messiah. The Messiah was anointed for the task, the purpose of laying his life down upon the cross. So anointing has nothing to do with skill. It has nothing to do with the ability to do your craft. It has nothing to do with how good of a singer you are, or how good of a player you are, or how good of a talker you are. It has everything to do with the purpose of your life. It has everything to do with the trajectory, the road, the mission of your life. And I think that understanding this is so key to unlocking the potential of anointing. And it's kind of going back to everything I've been saying, that we really, as worship leaders, to be really effective, we have to set our lives apart for the purpose of serving God's church. That's what anointing is. It's walking after Jesus as he is the first anointed one, and it's following him as he pursues the cross, as he lays his life down and then is brought back to life in newness of life, in the power of the regeneration power of the Spirit. It's walking into that. I think that's when the worship leader becomes the most effective anointed leader that there possibly is. And anointing is not, we need to stop thinking of it as this compliment. In some ways, it's really not a compliment. Like this, to be anointed means I'm going to lay my life down. It means the trajectory of my life is pointed towards the cross. That is the direction of my life. I'm going to lay myself down for the service of others. It has nothing to do with how well I execute music. It has everything to do with where I'm going and the heart posture that I have as I walk after Jesus. You know, one of the most famous passages, and this really is kind of the job description of Jesus that he now passes on to the church, is in Luke chapter 4. Jesus stands up, or he takes a seat in the temple, and he asks for a scroll, and they hand him the prophet Isaiah. He opens up to Isaiah 61, and he reads, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Anointing is about mission. Anointing is about purpose. And so don't pass up somebody who's anointed, who's ready to lay down their life for the purpose of the gospel, because we've confused the definition of anointing and we're actually looking for someone who can hit that note on that song, or someone who can play, or someone who has the right gear, who understands the way we do things. Really, the people you want to pour into always are the people who have anointing. Always choose true anointing over talent. Always choose humility and heart over the ability to sing and play and make cool stage designs and lighting designs and mix a great service. It's always more important to look for people whose lives are pointed towards the cross. And I think that when we as worship leaders understand that, I think God's going to unleash and unlock something in the church that's really, really, really amazing.